It's Jim Check with Colona Now. I'm here with Kent Mulgan of Colona Now, and we're here with a really big show. This will be Kent's last show of this year because we're doing a show tomorrow. I have a special guest coming in tomorrow, Scott Deedles, and then we're going to take basically a break until in the new year, and we're going to come back in the new year with a really big show. Not a big like.
So it's not that big a show?
Yeah, it's not that. It's a really big show. I turned my phone off, but I didn't turn off my watch for some reason. But hey, let's start off with Maid. We talked about Maid yesterday.
Yeah.
And
Boy,
there's a family suing now because he was out on day pass and and he had suffered from mental and physical disabilities and there's a lawsuit.
Who's suing who?
The family is suing. The family is suing Maid.
The family is suing Maid.
Yep.
That's it?
That's it. That's all I got for that. And then there's those hornets that you're worried about, the massive or invasive murder hornets. The United States officials saying they're wiped out in the U.S.
They got rid of them all?
So you can go down there and not worry about
murder hornets. I don't know if I feared the Hornets or the name of the Hornets. I don't know. I think both were bad.
That's the name of a military aircraft too, the Hornet. Really cool video. You got to go on CTV to watch it. It's on their thing. A guy was put a GoPro on the end of a fishing rod and he dipped it into where some sea otters were feeding, and then a couple of humpback whales showed up, and then
look at that. Yeah.
He captured some really cool stuff as the GoPro sat at the bottom of the ocean there.
Can I share a humpback whale story?
Sure, do it.
Went to watch my daughter and her boyfriend surfing outside of Victoria at Sombrio Beach, and there were a whole bunch of humpback whales showed up, and there was a cluster of surfers, and then right there were these humpback whales just goofing around right by the shore.
Did everybody stay in the water? Nobody panicked?
People were just staring at them until honestly you couldn't. I mean, you just ran out. How long can you look at humpback whales before you're like, you have to walk away, and there's still something spectacular happening. And we found out later by, kind of going online, what would they have been doing, and they were kind of hunting as a group. They were churning up the water, and it does something, and anyway, yeah, they were doing a little group hunting right beside surfers. So it's really cool how these massive creatures give us a look now and then. Go ahead, Jim.
Alaska Airlines makes its triumphant return to Colona with flights to LA and Seattle, and that's going to start here in March 17th. So that was
I'm blocking that line.
That was the other day. We talked about Porter, so more airlines coming back to the airport.
It just keeps getting better.
We're in the top 10 airports in Canada. And that airport continues to grow. You were just out the other day and you interviewed Sam Salmon.
Right. So this gives us great access up and down the West Coast. So fantastic.
One-way flights between Kelowna and LA are generally around $350, but to launch, it'll be $149 if you want to fly. So there you go. Anyway.
I want to do that. Get down there, get out of the cold maybe. Zip down there at that price.
Yeah. I'm not going to run this video, but I did have Mayor Tom Dias in the other day, and we talked about everything that the City Council had done for the year for 2024. We kind of recapped 2024 and the accomplishments, and then we looked ahead at the budget for 2025. Lots of capital projects in the City of Kelowna, and lots of work in the rental home market. That interview is about an hour long. Go on kelownanow.com and watch it. It gives you a good idea of what the city's been up to for the past year.
And we went yesterday down to City Park to find out what all that equipment, what's it doing. It just keeps getting better and better in City Park. We're now rounding the corner into Cold Sands Beach. There's still some question marks, but it's looking great. And then meanwhile, they're improving the island stage. So, that whole waterfront area in Kelowna it's
beautiful, like from all the way from Waterfront Park all the way down to the bridge now. It's a beautiful little area, like a continuous kind of a beautiful area for sure. And you can walk along on the water there. So, and then we got some tweets here. Justin Trudeau still not wanting to meet with the press and that. And then this is the itinerary for today. Nothing. It sounds like they're going to do a cabinet shuffle tomorrow. I'm not sure why, but and then the Toronto Sun put out a piece calling him delusional. I watched the interview on CBC with a panel, and they were using words like drunk, delusional, and a whole bunch of things. Kevin O'Leary was on CBC as well, and he did about a 3.5 minute rant. I guess no friend of Justin Trudeau for sure, and he's been saying that for a while. But he said that Canada's in really dire straits, and Justin Trudeau and
So you don't
Chrystia
think
Freeland put us there.
so you don't think this is just like a couple of people over Christmas dinner that don't see eye to eye, and it'll all blow
Is
over,
that comedy?
all blow over by Boxing Day?
Well, that's what he said, right? That's what he said. Just families have spats, and I think that like CBC and CTV are definitely now really going after. I mean, there's a bunch of MPs that have stood up, Liberal MPs, right? They may topple the government before the NDP does, and it's come out now. One NDP MLA or MP has said that the NDP won't do anything if Jagmeet gets his pension. So they basically said that February, then they might do something. I mean, that's kind of a sad thing to say, though, right? To
No,
come out and say that.
honestly, it is. The whole situation is it's getting a bit cringy. It seems that everybody around him, and
Yeah.
as I said last time, if you've got this number, what is it, 50 plus 60? What are we up in terms of
Probably
MPs
higher
that
now,
have
but yeah.
publicly said
Yeah.
that they want him out? How many more feel that way but aren't ready to, be all public about it? Some people don't think you should be public about that. So it's a lot.
Yeah, and like I said, even CBC and CTV, like the interview on CBC was like a 3.5 minute rant of just Kevin O'Leary.
So I don't know. It almost at this point, that he's on his way out. It's just happening, in this
And
hard to watch, sluggish manner with him not, or at least appearing to not get it.
and then the premiers are doing the work that he should be doing right now because the premiers are the ones coming up with a plan for the Trump tariffs and that. So that Doug Ford and Danielle Smith kind of taking front roles on that, and they seem to be doing the work that.
What do you think about Doug Ford saying we're going to hold back power,
Well,
leave people freezing in the dark?
I think it's just rhetoric, and maybe he's doing his bully tactics. I mean, I don't think any of those things are going to happen. Daniel Smith
But is
has
he
asked
wrong?
him.
But is he right or wrong to do it?
Oh, I mean, that's up to him. But Daniel Smith has come out and asked Doug Ford to retract those statements and said that's not the right way to do it. So
Right.
Daniel Smith has a closer connection with lots of leaders down in the U.S. She's been down there visiting them. She's actually been down there shaking hands and trying to make deals. So
Well, that doesn't sound like Daniel Smith's digging in with a tough bargaining position there, but.
a lot of Alberta exports go to the U.S. Alberta relies heavily on the United States
Yes.
for beef, oil, grain, a whole bunch of things. Like a lot of stuff goes south. Alberta's
Right.
biggest trading
And
partner, obviously.
but they don't want that going south with 25% tariffs, do they?
Correct. In Ottawa, Mark Miller came out and said Ottawa moves to stamp out job-selling scams in the immigration system. My comment on that is like, really? About time. Because we've talked about this even locally. There's rumors out there that people are paying to come here, and some people are making.
Oh, it's not rumors. People we see it in Colona. People in India are paying. I've heard as much as 40,000. I'm now hearing it's more like 20 something.
Yeah, but we don't have confirmation that we've heard that though, right? We've heard it several times.
I'm pretty certain, Jim. And then they pay. So now you've got someone operating a business who needed these employees.
Yeah.
And a
Making
normal
money off
small
of it.
business operator needs to pay all those people. Imagine the money's going the other way.
No, that's maybe part of the reason why we have that immigration went out of control because people are making money off of it, right?
Yeah.
So, and then the Toronto Police Association pulling no punches here, absolutely not. And they said our members have lost faith in Justin Trudeau's government to do the right thing for the right reasons. Time to resign and leave this critically important public safety issue to someone else. And then I guess Anita Anand came out and said, oh, we're going to do some things. And they said, this is laughable. After 9 years of doing nothing, you pick the moment when your government is descending into chaos to placate us with proposals. What a joke, Justin Trudeau. So definitely people, that's different slides there.
Yeah.
You got those other ones, Romo? There you go. So people definitely, like the Toronto Police Association, really, speaking out. I mean, everybody's speaking out, it seems like, right? At some point, it's got to get the hint, you would think. But it doesn't seem to want to get the hint, right? Yeah, we'll just do that. And then here's our Stephen Jabo now getting in the news. Stephen Jabo accused now of siphoning $254 million to his own company in the green slush fund. So the Liberals have had scandals. There's an MP that stood up in Parliament yesterday and laid out 68 scandals. I didn't have time to put it together, but I will likely try to put it together and use my friend ChatGPT to lay it out and transcribe that, because this seems, and they won't provide the documents on this one either. So this is where accountability needs to come into play.
Okay, who is leveling this accusation?
This is from the Western Standard. This has been out there though. They've been asking for the documents for quite a while in Parliament. This is the thing that locked up Parliament.
Yeah.
So, and not providing the documents makes it look worse though, right? If it's all good, just there you go. No, wouldn't you think?
You'd think.
Seems like the right thing to do. And we're going to move on to markets. Yesterday, I won a Black Swan event, as they were calling it. Jerome Powell came out with the 0.25 rate cut for the U.S. Fed, but then he spoke hawkishly, saying that they likely won't be making a lot of cuts, maybe 2 cuts in 2025, and says inflation is still a concern.
This is the price of gold over your shoulder.
This is the price of gold, yeah. So everything kind of fell off yesterday. Everything kind of really had a bad day, including the markets, and I'll get to some of those things. But gold sold off, and then Bitcoin sold off. Bitcoin was, sold off. Everything sold off. And then the Canadian dollar, well, that's a different matter here. But the Canadian dollar is still looking extremely weak, and that has to do with our economic situation. But then if we look at the Magnificent Seven yesterday, lickings all across the board. Tesla down 8%, Meta down almost 4%, Amazon down almost 5%, Google, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple. The market was down in general, and the Dow was down as well. And if we look at the big thing, this is kind of like the S&P 500. Red means bad, and green means good. Very little green there.
I see
a speck?
I see some good.
You see a speck? You see a glimmer of hope there?
Right there, yeah.
So it looks like today a little bit of a bounce back already. Things look to be better. That's typically what happens when you get one of those sell-off days, and some people think of those as buying opportunities as opposed to continued sell-off. Like the Dow Jones is up 100 points right now as we speak. So,
there you go.
Typically, traders use these as opportunities, and they try to push it down. And I mean, there's a lot of computers that do a lot of the trading. So when they see weakness, they feed on the weakness and drive it down further and exaggerate the weakness. And then they also, when they find the bottom,
so now that we've got people using computer programs to time
algorithms,
the market,
yeah.
Is that making the ups and downs more severe, or does it level them? What is the net impact of having
the first one?
Really, it makes it more. It adds
obviously,
to
because it feeds into it, right? So if it sees a weakness, it'll feed into that weakness, right, and drive it further down. And then the same thing on the upside. But the actual money flows in the markets, we've seen this over the years. The money flow is positive, and the trend seems to be upward.
So in the end, it's not a great disservice to us. It just makes it more.
And most traders, most people like you or I even, they typically don't do a lot of trading. They buy a stock and they just kind of hang on to it. But it's the traders that are out there, the hedge funds and these computer traders that are trying to make money on a daily basis, where they're buying and selling, rebalancing, doing these things. But most average investors don't have the time or the energy or the knowledge to be seeing that trade and jumping on it and trying to make some money off of it. I mean, there is some people that sit on the monitor and have like 8-10 monitors around them, and they do that stuff, right? And understand all that. Mm-hmm. It's a technical job for sure.
For sure.
But the computers are smart at it because they can do it really easy, right? And then have you heard of Hawk2 or what, that girl that she got super famous with the spitting thing? Romo's laughing his head off over there. You've heard of her, I'm sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, she created some kind of this is just a warning. She created some kind of crypto coin, but then it ran up crazy and just blew up, and leaving 95% of losing 95% of its value in a single day. She's disappeared since then. Like it's like she hasn't been on the internet for a bit, and now she's being sued by investors.
Everybody cracks a joke nowadays. Oh, that's the new cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I don't. yeah, I
I
think
think it's
a
a bit
lot.
too much. I mean,
I think a lot of the Bitcoin is one that is serious for sure,
sure,
and
it's serious,
because it's on an ETF, it's
right?
like all that stuff. But the rest of them are,
With all the
there's
things
likely
going
going to
on in the
go.
world, you bring up Bitcoin every day on this show.
Well,
Is that
Bitcoin is, I think it's a
but
legit
is that
asset
not
now. It's a legit asset. The
right?
coins, like the alternative coins and that kind of stuff, are different.
But how it's doing today in terms of world news, does it need a mention every day? I mean,
I mean, that's my market report. Gold
okay.
and
And Bitcoin is central to a daily market report now.
it is on Bloomberg as well.
All right.
Every day, Bloomberg, and you can go watch it. Bloomberg does oil. Bloomberg does Bitcoin. Bloomberg does
Okay.
gold. Bloomberg does silver. I don't have silver
I'm
in here.
slow to adapt.
Yeah, I can show you Bloomberg every morning,
All
and
right.
they do the Bitcoin thing.
All
And
right.
that started probably about a year ago. That there's a Bitcoin update on Bloomberg every day, like repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
They're updating
Okay.
Bitcoin. So there you go. Kent learned something today. And then so in New Jersey, like all the drone stuff. Check this out. If you can do this full screen for us, Romo, because I want people to see this. So if they would have saw this in New Jersey, they would have lost their minds. If you can take us off the screen, because I want to see
Okay.
this
The
in full
natives,
screen.
or sorry, the aliens have landed.
This is a drone show in China.
Wow. That's not New Jersey.
Well, this is China. This is drones. They do a lot of these like art in the sky things with drones.
Wow. That's quite spectacular.
Yeah. Just think if you saw that in New Jersey.
I know.
Uh,
What do you
they
think's happening in New Jersey?
they
I mean,
did come
I'm
out.
not following it that much. It just strikes me as a big bunch of stupid.
Yeah, the government did come out yesterday in an interview and said they know what it is. They say it's all just commercial drones that are licensed to fly.
Just droning
And they're
around.
all drones that are. And
There's no big common purpose.
what's
They're
the guy in charge of defense? I can't remember his name on the top of my head. But he came out and said, "Oh, it's all good." But why didn't they say that right
okay,
away?
it's all good, but there
Hey,
not
why
one.
didn't they say it right away?
But there's not one big drone festival going on. That's just general drone use.
Yeah, that's what he said. It's just
Okay.
commercial drone traffic, and there could be some military application. He just basically said it's all licensed and everything.
It's all licensed and good. You don't need to worry.
Yeah. That's our AI section, but that's pretty impressive.
It is. I think it's more interesting than fireworks.
So they're doing that a lot in China. I've seen it so many times now where they make like dragons in the sky and stuff like that. So they have these coordinated, and they can do a lot with AI and computers now with making these light shows. But that one looks like a spaceship that was actually landing and dropping stuff, right?
It did have a bit of an alien invasion feel.
I just think if they moved that over to New Jersey right about now, that might.
They should do that.
EV section. We don't have a lot in here too today, but you can't read it. But you can go on Tesla, the X. It just shows you, like even when you buy a Tesla, that things like just the things that get added. And I'll just read some of these. 2022. They at the holiday update they added Apple Music, Zoom calls in the car, emissions testing, dog mode, scheduled light show. I'm just hitting some of the big ones here. In 23, they added Apple Podcasts, automatic 911, holiday light show again, Bluetooth headsets, gear chimes. For 2024, you're going to get the Apple Watch app, so you can use your Apple Watch if you want to operate your car to get in and out. And then there's an app for a dash cam viewer on your app. Sirius XM is being added. The point is, they add stuff all the time. So when you get that car, like most of the time when you buy a car in 2023 or 2024, that is what you get.
Right.
With Tesla, you're going to get a holiday update. They do it every Christmas.
Right.
And you're going to get probably, like 10 more features
Right.
that the car didn't have yesterday. Like a gift.
Yeah. Can I make
No charge.
Can I make a suggestion to Tesla on
Sure.
a little improvement?
What's that?
I wanted the Sentry mode on my Tesla to be off. Seriously, we disagreed on this.
Yeah.
Turning it off on your on the app is a waste of time. It doesn't actually work. There should be an asterisk. If you want to turn off Sentry mode, you got to do it in the car.
So you figured it out finally.
Well, after turning it off 15 times, yeah. So you know what? I think the thing about Tesla, though, as you mentioned, they're always upgrading things. They'll straighten that out.
And you don't even notice it. You just get in the car one day and all of a sudden you got new features. It's not like you have to take it in or
You don't
anything.
have to say yes to the upgrade.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. Well, you have to connect it to Wi-Fi. You need
Right.
to do your update. But in the good news section, this is all we got for today. We can put that full screen too. And this is how, some people after Christmas might want to make their way around the ice too after eating a lot of Christmas turkey and enjoying a lot of treats. What the bear is showing you there is you got to flatten yourself out and just crawl.
And, that's sad though.
Why is that sad?
Because the ice is melting in their habitat, and
well, maybe this is just in the spring and stuff, and he's just moving around.
Maybe there's more of this.
He learned this though, but
it is pretty cool.
Just take it for what it is, right?
All right, sorry.
Sorry, but don't try to read something into it. He's smart enough.
I'm just one of those crazy people who actually listens to science on that.
There you go.
It's kind of sad.
Why don't you just watch that and relate it to Thanksgiving or Christmas Day?
I'm sorry,
but realize if you're going on thin ice,
polar bears are amazing.
And if you're going on thin ice, lay flat, crawl.
I'll give you thin ice.
He's always on thin ice. Anything else you want to add? A Christmas cheer or anything?
No, but for anybody with the tolerance to sit through this, deserves a very extra special, holiday wish for all that is good.
Merry Christmas from all of us. Season's greetings, and we hope you enjoy the holidays. I'll be back tomorrow. Kent won't, so he's off. His kids are back in town.
I'll be gathered in with family.
Have you given the keys? Have you texted a key to your two fine young daughters for your car?
No.
You can govern them. You can say you can go this far. You can do that.
Nope.
You can watch where they go to. No. Yeah, I know. So Kent's not going to let them have it. Anyway. I'll see you tomorrow, and then that'll be it till the new year. But
happy holidays.
Happy holidays, and thank you for watching Colona.
We don't just report the news. We live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government funding, no outside influence. Colona Now, local, independent. News you can trust.